Yo, this is SoulDrum86 bringing you another video. And yes, we're going to talk about universe mode and updates and lack thereof and all that good stuff. As you know, everybody's putting their videos up that was able to play 2K early at the Fan Fest or whatever it was, the Creator Fest. Um, and so let's get into this, man. From what I've seen and from what all of you seen, there's some good that was added to universe mode. But then overall, there was really nothing added to universe mode. And let's start with the positives. I'll start with the positives. And that is now you can have multiple shows running on one day. Along with the 2 night PLEs, you can have multiple shows in one day. So what that does is if you're somebody who wants like your WWE universe, and you want to do like AEW, or you want to do the old school Monday Night Wars, you can, because you can have up to 3 shows for one night. So if you wanted to do 2 shows, you could have your Raw going against Nitro, or you could have a show. You could put Dynamite on Monday night, if you want to do like that, or if you wanted to do NXT and Dynamite on Wednesday night, if you wanted to, do it that way, you can. It's cool to be able um, to do that with the shows. It's easier to move your shows from one date to another, like from one day to another. You can do PLEs throughout the week, actually. So your PLEs don't just have to be on the weekend. You could actually do a PLE for Monday. If you wanted to do Taboo Tuesday, you could now. That actually is cool. Again, it creates that. The freedom of choice on what the player wants to do. You can like really just kind of have at it if you want your PLEs to be Fridays and whatnot. So you can do that now. Um, that's a good thing. Choice is always a good thing. Um, some of the menu stuff is like the menu is actually all together now. So it's like you're not really going into these subsections. Like everything is like all on the main page of everything that you want to do with your universe in terms of like customizing it, the calendar, everything is all in that main page that you start out with. Um, another good thing is it is easier to go through the roster and select which show they are going to be on. So you no longer have to click into the wrestler and then do another thing. And, it was kind of tedious to put wrestlers on whatever show or take them off of certain shows in years past. That part always got so annoying. Now it's more of a you just toggle through and you select or unselect for them to be on a certain show. Much easier than having to do the stuff that you had to do before in terms of putting them on a whatever on a desired show. Trying to think what else. Um, Money in the Bank cutscenes they have added to it. However, um, you still can't do any Money in the Bank cash, like cutscene cash ins, I guess, at PLEs, which is very weird. Um, is that it with the positives? Because I went into a negative. I'm trying to think. Well, promos are kind of a positive and a negative. So let's now get into the negatives. Um, Again, with the PLEs, you still can't have rivalry actions. You just have to do the matches. That sucks. I mean, like things do happen at pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call them. Things do happen in wrestling on those shows. So it is very disappointing that you still can't have your story kind of form even at pay-per-views. That's a it's a weird choice to say the least. It's a very very odd choice. The thing that I heard about the Money in the Bank cash in, that's also weird that you can do the cut scenes if it's any other show, but not PLEs, which oddly enough, like, people do cash in at PLEs as well, not just, your weekly shows. So very, very interesting choice to not have that be an option. Um, Gosh, I mean, overall, before I get into the promos, overall, Nothing much else has been added. I'm trying to think if I missed anything, 'cause I didn't want to write anything down. I just got done watching a couple videos. Um, Trying to think. Okay, like the calendar stuff that's been updated, menu stuff. Um, hmm. I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. So promos, promos do look better this year than they have in the past. I love the animation of when somebody comes out. Like I think it's the call out, or when I think you can have your whatever wrestler you're gonna take control of or whatever. You can choose to interrupt a promo. I love the animation of them walking down to the ring and holding the microphone. I think that that's cool. Like they're talking. Now, personally, I will say this. I actually think it's a plus that there's no text at the bottom of the screen. I know a lot of people might disagree. Here's the reason why I'm okay with there being no text and you just kind of watching a cutscene, and then the commentators are pretty much kind of telling you what the wrestler is saying, like they're kind of telling the story of what's going on. The reason why I like that is because the dialogue was extremely cheesy. Now, the other option, which I know people are going to put in the comment sections, and I agree, the other next best option would be for us to write in our own dialogue. That would be better. But we don't have that option. But because we don't have that option, I am okay with there being no dialogue to read, and you're just kind of, at least for now, that's me. That's me not experiencing it yet. Me not experiencing it yet. I am okay with at least there's no cheesy dialogue. Um, they look like they're animated better sometimes, and I think we still might run into it because again, we haven't played it. We've just seen clips of it. I remember one of the biggest issues of promos before was the wrestler was not moving the way that the wrestler would move if they were given a promo. For example, somebody like Roman Reigns or Undertaker, whenever I would have them doing a promo back in the day, when that was still a thing in these 2K games before it was taken out. Sometimes Undertaker will be moving all around the ring like crazy, being real hyper animated. I'm like, Undertaker doesn't do promos like that. Roman Reigns doesn't do promos like that. It was just, it's very weird. It was very weird. Uh, um, there are more options for promos, not where they're going to take place, which I had hoped. I really did hope that they were going to take place in different areas, but you could only do them in the ring as expected because everything in universe mode, when it comes to 2K, for some reason, they act like wrestling stories don't take place in other parts of the actual arena, which is still very disappointing. But like I said, I do love the animation when they're coming down to the ring. I love when they get in the ring and they face their opponent and they're talking. Like they had a clip, specifically Matt Assemble had a clip where it was Jey Uso and CM Punk, and the way CM Punk looked and the way he kind of got in Jay's face, and it looked like how Punk would cut a promo. I know that it's just the animation. It's not like they made it specific to him. They don't do that much detail in these games, but it did look cool. Also, a plus with the promos, because I actually said this in a video a while back. Maybe it was a video I even made last year. I said that there needs to be promos that go right into a match, just like on TV. And yes, you can do that. So now you can have a promo start and a match can start right up after. So it's kind of like a call out or a challenge. And a match can literally start. So now you can actually start your show with a promo that leads into a match. I think that that is fantastic. That's one of the best things that's added to the promos being back this year. Um, let's see. Oh, now we got to go into the negatives with promos. So your champion does not come down to the ring holding the title. Why? Why? Like these are the little things of like, okay, that shouldn't be missing. Every wrestler since the beginning. If they're cutting any kind of promo, they have their title with them, whether it's on their waist, whether they're holding it over their shoulder. Like, what are we doing, 2K? Now, I do like the fact that if somebody is doing if somebody's just doing a regular promo, like there was a clip showing Cody Rhodes in his entrance gear, and I think it was one of those self-promotion promos because it just was him, and then he left the ring. However, another added detail that would have been nice is to have an option for promos where they're in their street clothes. Because what do we see week in and week out? And we've been seeing it since the 80s. Wrestlers do also cut promos in their regular clothes. Now, back in the 80s and the 90s, it was a little bit more creative, and even the Attitude Era. They weren't necessarily, well, started to change a little bit in the Attitude Era, but they had very unique street clothes, which they kind of don't do nowadays. Like, my brother actually made a joke because he was watching a clip of Monday Night Raw. I think it was last week when Logan Paul and CM Punk were having a promo, and he said Logan Paul looked like he just stepped off the airplane. And, but regardless of that, there should be an option for her promos being done where the wrestler is in their street clothes. Why not? Seriously, why not? I think that would be so cool. It would add immersion to it. But it's 2K. So they don't take that time to think of those extra steps. They never take that time to think of the extra steps. So it would be nice. Now, look, again, I'm glad that they're not always like ready to wrestle in their promos. They have their entrance gear like on, but still, I don't know. There was also an interesting looking cutscene with promos where it looked like you can do a promo after a match. I don't think that was the case, but maybe, because it was again in Matt's video. They were showing Seth Rollins, and he wasn't in his entrance gear. He looked like he just got done having a match, and he went to grab a microphone to talk. That was pretty interesting as well. So it does look, I'm just assuming it looks like they have promos that can happen where after you win a match, or, after a match, the wrestler could, grab the microphone, I guess, do a call out, something like that. The other negative with promos is that you can't just select promos. They're within the rivalry actions, and it has to be a rivalry that's going on. The reason why this is a bad idea, in my opinion, is, again, this is 2K not thinking of the extra things. So say if you have an injury angle, right? A wrestler gets injured and they're out, or you kind of make this wrestler go away on your show for a certain amount of time, whether that's a few months, whatever, or you're bringing back a legend and you want to get a legend on your show. Like, say you want to bring Stone Cold back to WWE, and he's back full time or even part time, whatever. It would be nice for you to just be able to select promo, so you could have a section called return promos. Like, so within the subsections of what you could select for, like, the options for promos, have one be return, and it can then go into, is this a return from a legend? Is this a return from injury? Is this a promo where somebody got traded to another show? Like, and I know there's not trades in universe mode, but say you select, okay, I want Roman on Raw now instead of SmackDown. So when you put Roman on Raw, you can then, before your show, select promo and put Roman Reigns there, and you can even have a wrestler changed brand promo. Things like that. Go the extra mile, 2K. Like, let's go the extra step with this stuff. The other disappointing thing is promos are still only, I mentioned this, but promos are still only done around the ring. No promos backstage. Why? Why can't we have these interviews like Kathy Kelly or somebody interviewing a wrestler and then have the same options of before where a wrestler interrupts? Maybe you have promos where somebody can start interrupting you from the Titantron. You can have promos start brawls in the back in the locker room, things like that, 2K has this obsession with universe mode, which I think is one of the things that makes universe mode get boring over time, is that all of the cutscenes are cutscenes that are taking place around the ring. That's not how wrestling works. There's cutscenes that should be happening in the locker rooms. There's cutscenes that should be available for the parking lot. They have these backstage areas. Why not implement them into universe mode? So again, it's nice that they're back. There's some positives that they have since, now that they're back. There's good things that I saw, but overall, it's still the same experience. It's still the same experience overall. Um, Personally, I don't know. I honestly do not know. Um, I still think they're missing the mark on allowing the show to feel like a show. You can add in all of the calendar things. You can, which is nice. You can, have us the ability to have multiple shows in one night. Fantastic. The ability for 2 night PLEs, fantastic. You can also do the 2 night PLEs in different like weekends. So week one could be like WrestleMania night one, and then you could have in a couple weeks the other WrestleMania, and it'll be night two, stuff like that. But they need to start thinking outside the box. They need to, I don't know, man. And now it's like, from this point, I don't know what's going to happen with universe mode in terms of like what they'll add in the future, because they barely add anything to the mode. And this is one of the things where it's like why I was so upset about the island and, and still my faction, because those are going to be the modes that get the most love moving forward. So the only thing that I can maybe hope is that they're probably going to add more options for promos next year, maybe in the backstage area. It's just interesting that they didn't this time around. Um, it's I don't know. It's weird, man. It's just a weird. It's just a weird dynamic. I don't know, man. It's just it really, at the end of the day, it's still the same universe mode. There's some nice things that are added. Don't get me wrong. There's things that make, the menu, all of that stuff is much easier now. All of it is much easier. Not having to use up multiple save slots for a universe mode is a big plus. But then again, universe mode doesn't give you enough options, in my opinion, to be able to do like two different shows, going together. Like, meaning, covering a Nitro and a WWE like Raw, or covering WWE and then doing Dynamite and Collision, and if you want to do AEW and WWE stuff. I don't know. It's not enough. It's still not enough there. I think eventually when I do get the game, I will try it out just to see. But I still feel like over time, it's like, okay, you've added in promos, but going back to promos, another negative when you do tag team promos, only one person of the tag team can do the promos, so you don't have the both of them. Which, why? That doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. Another negative is you still are stuck with 1v1 rivalry and 2v2 rivalry. No triple threat rivalry, no faction versus faction. To me, again, it's laziness. If they would have been slowly adding to these features throughout the years, they wouldn't have to add so much in one year. Because I do feel like that's what the problem is. I think the reason why they don't do the triple threat rivalries is because they got to figure out more cutscenes. They got to animate more cutscenes. It's more work for them. It's more work for them, and they don't have the time for it. But if they would have built upon it for over the years, then they would only have so much that they would need to add every year. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. It is what it is. Universe mode is still universe mode. There's nothing there. Like, I don't know. They still don't, to me, they still haven't grasped the fact that, like, universe mode also does need to play out like it's a show. It needs to play out like a show. It's crazy, man. You need dialogue for when you're about to start a match. I think I've mentioned this in the video before too. I think in the universe mode, it should be unique to universe mode, where when you go into when it's that versus screen, like this person versus this tag team versus this, whatever, it needs to be a situation where you hear Michael Cole and Corey Graves and them talking about the match that's getting ready to happen. I think dialogue like that is very important. Again, it brings you into the mode. It's immersive, makes you feel like you're watching the product on TV. And so a lot of that stuff still isn't there. I don't know. Universe mode right now, it's okay, but it's nothing great. It's still pretty much the same outside of some, oh, it's easier to do this in my menu. It's easier to, do this with my calendar. It's easier to put wrestlers on different shows. But overall, to me, it's still the same universe mode, but it is what it is. And you guys let me know what you feel in the comments section. It is your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.